Hello and welcome to BISP Solutions. Today webinar is about the Fusion financial implementation in which we will do GL related transaction process. So we take one use case of BISP group. So let us move to the today's agenda. So first we will understand the role-based dashboard. Then we will create reporting ledger and secondary ledger, and then we will create journal approvals configuration in BPM worklist and test the same by creating manual journal and post the same. Then we will do, if time permits, we will create journals in ADFDI through ADFDI sheets, and let us quickly navigate to the next slide. So understanding the role-based dashboard. So it is an enterprise structure. If you see the BISP group enterprise structure, in which we are going to have enterprise level, we got a two legal entity, that is BISP Infonet Private Limited, which is registered in India, and as per one registration there is one primary ledger is there. So all consolidation will be done in India, and there is another legal entity, that is BISP Solution, which is US based legal entity, and I have loaded the data through rapid implementation. So if you have not seen that particular video, you can view that particular video, which will be provided in later in my YouTube channel. So in that, one entity is India legal entity, which is BISP Infonet India Private Limited, which having a physical calendar, and having a common chart of account, which is both the entity are using the same chart of accounts, so I use the word common chart of accounts. And in India, definitely the transaction will be, my functional currency will be INR, and the standard convention I have used as accrual basis that I have used in BISP Infonet Private Limited, and there is a one business unit, that is BISP business unit in Bhopal, and under which one inventory org I had to create. Since it is a service oriented industry, it provides various kind of services such as training and solutions towards the different products, or say related to products, different products, it provides the services towards that. So one of that legal entity is BISP Solution US, and in the US it has got a physical calendar in the primary ledger, and the common chart of account it has been used, and the currency is USD currency, and the standard convention again I have used the standard accrual. And for the US GAAP reporting purpose, I have created a one secondary ledger, right? So I have created a secondary ledger where I have created a different calendar, that is natural calendar I have used, and using the same common chart of accounts. I have not used a different chart of accounts out there. You can use that in more, you can do various combinations are there. So mapping set, you can use a different chart of accounts and do the mapping set, you can do that. There is, but the requirement is, as per the client, is they want a US GAAP related with having a US natural calendar, that is from January to December, and the currency is USD. Definitely the functional currency will be the USD, and the standard convention, again I am use the US GAAP, right? So, and the client requirement is foremost is that whenever the journals is posted in the GL, it should immediately should be consolidated in INR. It should be reported towards the INR consolidation ledger, right? So that is the foremost requirement. So I have created a one BISP INR reporting ledger. So let us navigate to the application and see how the things have been configured out there. So first we will navigate to the application now. So let us first log in with the credential. Just hold on. Here we are logged into the application now. This user is implementation user, and he got the access towards the IT security, and he got the role of implementation, application implementation consultant role. So let us navigate to the setup and maintenance. And selecting the work area as financials, setup as financials, and first of all I will navigate to the accounting calendar, right? So let us navigate to the accounting calendar. So that is BISP. So there is a physical calendar. So you can see this physical calendar is 23. So from April 22, the first period start from 22, and in 24, that is last, that is on, this is the 24, right? So I have opened that particular period, and I have created one US calendar also that will be used in my secondary ledger, right? So that is the creation of that as per natural calendar. You can see that January to December with having a one adjusting period, taking in the one adjusting period, that is the requirement of the client. And similarly 2023 I have created this calendar. Just add that particular year, and the adjusting period is 1, right? So that is the adjusting period. And save and close. Now let us move to the general ledger. So manage primary ledger. So let us see what kind of primary ledger, so that you can understand. So BISP Group INC is my primary ledger name, and it's a Indian primary ledger. Chart of account is BISP Group, and accounting calendar it is using as BISP fiscal calendar, right? So currency is different, that is INR, that is the functional currency, and the balancing cube it has generated, through which we will have FRC reports we can create. And similarly in the BISP Group US, that same as BISP, you can see the currency is different, that is USD, the functional currency is USD. So that's why I have used that same chart of accounts with same combination out there. And in the manage secondary ledger, that let's go to the specific ledger option. So I am taking the case of BISP Group USA. So if you view that particular enterprise structure design, so we are out here, right? So we are out here. Now we will see the reporting and the BISP US GAAP, right? So that we will see that. And this is the specific ledger option. The first open period is April 22 and the future interval period is 1, right? So accounting method is standard accrual, same as we have used that. And retained earning I have provided, that is retained earning. And enable the journal approvals, I have enabled that. Same we will see in this session, how to configure the approval rules in BPM worklist, and the enable that journal suspense account when we import that particular journals through legacy system or say through FBDI files, right? So that if the journals are not balanced, then it will post to the suspense account, and through that suspense account we can identify that which entries are in suspense, and we will pass the rectify entry accordingly, right? So this is all about the specific ledger option of BISP Group US ledger. And moving to the secondary ledger, let us manage secondary ledger task. Let us take that. So I have created a BISP US local GAAP ledger with the chart of account as BISP Group, and calendar I have used as BISP US calendar, right? So USD is my currency is my USD, and the calendar is BISP US calendar. That calendar is from January to December, right? So that is the calendar it is using. And again the specify ledger option. So in the specify ledger option, my primary ledger is this, and the secondary ledger is US GAAP. I selected that and apply go. Provided the standard accrual, all the accounts, and out here I have not enabled the journals, right? So in the primary ledger itself there is an approval, and same will be going to the secondary ledger. It will post automatically. So how it going to do that? Let us go to the next step, that is complete the primary and secondary mapping. If you go out there, out here you can see the mapping between the primary and the secondary. My primary ledger is US BISP Group US is my ledger, and the chart of account is BISP Group, right? So that is my chart of accounts, and the fiscal is my calendar. Similarly, you can see in the front of that is my BISP US GAAP, and chart of account using the same chart of accounts. As per the client requirement, they want to use the same chart of accounts. So, and the accounting calendar is US. I have used BISP US calendar, and out here the standard accrual, the accounting method, and data conversion level I have used in the subledger, right? So whatever the subledger I have used, so data conversion in the subledger I have used that. So when you run the create accounting process in the primary ledger, the process creates subledger journals for both the primary and the secondary ledger. When you run the post journal process in the primary ledger for the journals, that will create through methods other than the creating account process. The post process copy the primary journals to the secondary ledger. For any journal that you don't want to copy or post, you can change the setting in the journal conversion rules selection on the mapping primary to secondary ledger page To prevent the duplication, post does not copy any journal that originated from subledger regardless of setting in the journal conversion rule section. So that I have used that other as yes and closing journals others as no and revaluation as no, right? So that is the transfer. And as save and close, you can disable. If you don't want to use that, you can disable from here itself. So you can create n number of secondary ledgers as per your requirement, and basically it is used to having a different compliances related to local ledger requirements. Other requirements are there is different requirements are there. As per that, you can use that secondary ledgers, right? So you don't have to specify journal conversion rules for your subledger, because the journal conversion rules are applied only to posting of Oracle General Ledger, and create accounting process automatically produces the accounting for both the primary and secondary regardless of the journal conversion rule setting, right? So I have saved the same, and then we will submit and review the accounting conversion configurations. So you can see that I have defined this local journal gap, right? So that is, it has been submitted already. I have posted the cubes had been generated, and accounting method is standard, is accrual is there. So you can change that method accordingly when you are using. You can use different convention methods. You can modify the methods. In the upcoming sessions, we will see that how the methods can be modified according to the needs of a client, right? So that is, we will see in the upcoming sessions also. So that we have created the local BSP US local gap. Now let us move to the reporting currency, right? So reporting ledger or reporting currency, you can say both the things are the same thing. If you using the translation process, then it will called as a reporting currency. Otherwise, the requirement as per the client is they want real-time conversion, right? So that reporting currency is required. So let us required, I say all task, and out here you can see manage reporting currency, right? So let's select that. Just hold on. Manage reporting currency. Select the scope. Out here I am selecting the BISP US group US, and you can see out here the my reporting ledger. I edit that. You can see that I have provided the name and the description of that particular ledger and the conversion level, right? So the conversion level is, I have selected journals. When you post the journal, the post process copy the journal to the reporting currency for the source and category that you specify in the journal conversion rule in the create editing journal currency page. So I have selected the journal level. There is a balance method. When you run the translation general ledger accounting balances process, then balances are transferred from specific ledger to the reporting currency and converted. And there is a subledger. When you running the create accounting process in the primary ledger, the process creates subledger journal for both the primary and the reporting currency. When you run the post journal process in the primary ledger for the journal that you create through the methods other than the create reporting currency. So you don't have to specify the journals conversion rule for your subledger because the journal conversion rules are applicable only to post from Oracle General Ledger. The create accounting process automatically produce accounting for both primary and the reporting currency regardless of journal conversion rule setting. Right, so that is the specific, you should take care of that. And currency level, and currency is INR, and first open period I have taken the April, and the rounding, whatever the general conversion, there is any rounding impact is there, that account I had to specify where it should get stored in that particular account code combination. And the revaluation basis entered currency, right? So entered currency, if you want to enable the journal approval, you can do so. There is no requirement of that. And the currency translation, it will take conversion rate type. I have taken as corporate rate out here. You can use this user defined rate, or you can create your own rate out there. So, and retain the transaction rate type, I said no. That basically used when last cooperated, whatever the rate is there, it will take the last rate basically to handle that particular thing. If the rate is not there, then it will take the last rate, retain the last rate of that particular thing. So error handling is that missing conversion rate. If the conversion rate of that particular specific date or period is not there, then it will take the if I select that use last rate, it will take the last rate of that particular when you run the translation, right? So that is the that it will take and convert accordingly. So I don't want that, and it will report the error. It will show you that currency conversion is not available. So, and the journal conversion rule, I have select the retained journal from source ledger, yes, and the other I said yes, the converted to the reporting currency. And closing journals, I said no, right? So that is the, and I have save and close that same. So this is all about the how I configured the BISP solution, so you can have a better understanding that what I have used and how the things will go on. Let us first, as we had discussed in the, move to the next slide, the rules, right? So let us move to the next slide related to rules. So in the general ledger, there is a seeded, or you can create a custom rules. So there are seeded general ledger rules are there, that is financial analyst, general accounting manager, general accountant, and I have created a custom rule that is junior general accountant. That is the requirement of my client. He wants to have a one junior general accountant who can record the entries, but he can't delete that particular entry, and he can view the recorded general entries. Once the entry is entered, he can change it down. So he can change that particular journals after posting, right? So neither he can reverse that particular post journals. So that is the basic requirement of that my client. So I have customized that particular general accountant, removing the delete and edit facilities from the role, and created a name given that is BISP Junior General Accountant role, right? So that is I have customized that. I will show in the application also. And there is a seated role as a general accountant. The responsibility of the recording journal entries, reporting the financial transaction, and manages the revenue, expenses, asset, liability, and equity accounts. It will do the accounting adjustment, accrual, allocation, currency revaluation, and translations. So he can perform these tasks using this role, that is general accountant. Now going to the general accounting manager. So it manages the general accounting functions of enterprise, including the general ledger, subsidiary ledger, and cost accounting, right? So this is the role I've provided to different user. As we further go in the slide, we will better understand that. And there is a financial analyst. The financial analyst, the analyze the financial performance of an enterprise or an organization with an enterprise, right? So organization with an enterprise. So it will moving to the next slide. So I have created a role-based hierarchy in which Ms. Susan Job is an accountant, is a junior accountant working in a BISP solution as an accountant job role with a data access of BISP Global. BISP in that case is BISP Group US, and in the Tim Cook is the manager working as a BISP solution as a general manager job role with the data access of BISP Group US, and Ms. Casey Green as a CFO working in a BISP Global as a financial analyst job role with the data access as of a BISP Global set, right? So that is, she got the access to the global set. So first of all, we will move to the Susan Job, then we will see the Tim Cook and also the Casey Brown. So I have already created, and we will navigate and see that. So this is I have created, since the time limitations is there, so I have created the same, and will navigate to that and tell and explain you how the things I have configured that in the application. Let us navigate to the role based. So for that I have to go to tools, and in the security console so first user is Susan Jobs, yeah. So you can see that she got a work relationship as his manager is Tim Cook, as we have discussed in this slide. The Tim Cook is the manager, right? So as job as an accounting clerk, and the business unit is BISP Solution Inc Miami, and she has got a role of BISP Junior General Accountant role, right? So that is the role, and one is employee abstract role, right? So that role has been given, and now I will move to the Tim Cook, who is the manager. So you can see out here the work associated work information. You can see the worker name is Tim Cook and the manager is Casey Green, right? So she is the manager of Tim Cook, and business unit is BISP Solution Inc Miami, and he got the role of general accountant and general accounting manager, right? So that is the two roles he got, right? So, and if I move to Casey Green, And out here you can see the highest level. She is the chief executive officer, and she is reporting nobody. She is a manager, overall manager, and the highest level of to approve the any requisition is the highest level, that is Casey Green. So she got the role of BISP financial analyst and the employee role, right? So that is the rules I have created, and I have given the data access and navigate to the same setup and maintenance. And you can go through the global search page, or for financials you can select the as manage data access for users. And data access user with the data access, say KC Green, search with that. She got a data access, that is BISP, and data access is BISP consolidated ledger, right? So that consolidated ledger is there, so that ledger she got the access towards that. And Tim Cook, search with that. The manager, he got the access of both the US ledger, primary ledger, as a accountant, general accountant, as well as the general manager, right? So he got both the roles with him, and the access of US primary ledger as well as the secondary ledger also, right? So that is the Tim Cook had got the access towards the data access of both the ledgers of primary as well as the secondary ledger. So I'm done with that. And so I forgot that one, Susan jobs, right? So that is also will be there. Susan.jobs jobs, search with that. There we are. So it got only primary ledger access, and right, so that is the data access provided to the Susan job, right? So as per the hierarchy basis of as per client requirement, this rules has been given and provided to the users. So done with that. Now the data flow in the ledger, it will be first will be primary ledger, then it will move to the secondary ledger, and simultaneously it will be in the reporting ledger, or say reporting currency, right? So that will be the flow of in the ledgers. The data flow will be in the ledgers. So this is the basically a presentation overview of that data flow in the ledgers. Right, so primary ledger is the main recording ledger. It records the transaction balance by using the chart of accounts with a consistent ledger calendar and currency and accounting rules implemented in a accounting method. And the secondary ledger, it will move to it is linked to the primary ledger. The secondary ledger and optional ledger linked to a primary ledger for the purpose of tracking alternative accounting, can differ from the primary ledger by using different accounting method, chart of accounts, accounting calendar, currency, and processing options, right? So that is the different method you can use simultaneously. So you can use as per the client requirement, you can define the secondary ledger accordingly. And there is a reporting ledger. The reporting ledger maintains the accounting transaction in addition to the different currencies, right? So that is the reporting currency, reporting ledger or reporting currency. Now we will see the journal flow in the application. So in the journals, you got a journal badge, journal header and journal lines. You can have a one badge with the multiple headers and lines also, and you can enter the multiple currency also. If you use a single currency option, say if you want to use a single currency, then in the specific ledger option there is an option that you can use only a specific currency. Basically in that particular checkbox is there, you can use that, so it will be using that currency, a functional currency only. You can enter only in the functional currency. Say if you have a US functional currency, then you can enter only the functional currency in US only. You can't enter the different currencies in that particular journals, right? So that is the you can use, but I have not checked that particular thing. And in the journal source also you can use that particular currency, that you can define different sources using that different categories. You can define that particular journal currency out there, right? So that is you can use that, but my client is not required that particular thing. And the ledger is primary, reporting and secondary. And after the journal is posted, it moves to the primary ledger, then it moves to the secondary, and simultaneously to the secondary ledger and primary reporting ledger also. And through the ledgers, if are posted, then you can view using the trial balances. There are 4 reports are there through the schedule process. You can view when it get posted, and balances get updated in the trial balances, and the general ledger trial balance report is there, trial balance report is there, trial balance extract is there, average balance trial balance report is there. There is 4 reports are there for the trial balances. You can different flavors are there. You can use that according to the needs, and that balances get stored in ISBase cube. So it's a multi-dimensional cube. By using that particular cubes, you can create income statement reports and balance sheets. That is the final accounting. And using that ISBase cube, we will see in the future also in that session how the balance gets stored and how we can create a reports of income statement reports and balance sheet we can create in the application. So let us move to the application now. So I will log out from this. Before that, we will create a one rule, approval rule in the BPM. So that is the approval, journal approval and configuration we will do. The initiator will be the Susan Jobs. Having a $5,000 or less is automatically approved. Any journals with the value of journal lines value with the 5,000 or less automatically get approved. It will not go to my Tim Cook as a manager. And if it is above that 5,000, then it will go one level supervisor rule, that is Tim Cook. He will approve between 5,000 to 10,000. The total approval he can do up to 10,000, right? So first approval base will be the 10,000, and if it is above that, any journals, say it is more than 10,000 or say 12,000 or 30,000 or 50,000, any amount is there, journal line amount is there, it will go for 2 level of approvals. First level will be the Tim Cook will approve that, and then it will go for KC Green as for approval, right? So it is more than that 10,000, it will go for second supervisor. We will use the supervisory rule, right? So that is the rule we will define in the BPM work list, right? So let us navigate, and so you can, from the setting and action, this bell icon, you can use this bell icon, show more, just hold on. Show more work list, to the administration. So in the administration, you can have an approval group. You can create the group, or you can go to the task configuration. So search with we want general ledger approvals. To create general approvals, the foremost thing is that to enable the general approval in specific ledger options. Let us navigate to that. Financials, general, and specific ledger option. Select your BISP group US. If you scroll down, that is enable the journal, right? So the same is out in the specific, enable that, then only it will process the flow, right? So cancel, I have enabled that. And journal sources, journal sources, manage journal sources. I select the manual. So you can see the manual, and here we are, required journal approvals, right? So we will enable this, then only in this particular, when you enter the journal, it will go for approval. So that the things you should take care while configuring the journal approvals. I have enabled that. And now let us move to the BPM. Out here we will search with Fin GL journal approval. Search with Fin GL approval. Search with that. The FinGL journal approval, right? So that is the task name. Select that and edit the same. So you can see out here there is different notes are there. So you can see the supervisory journal approval rules are there. There is a approval group journal approvals are there. So there is a job level journal approvals are there, which is on rule based, right? So you enable that in the job journal basis. You can configure accordingly. So different nodes are there. So position journal approvals are there based on rule based, right? So parallels is there, right? So there is a two assigning to the parallel approval participant with a two assigning one, right? So there is a single approval assignee is there. So you can have a different way to configure the approvals. So we will go with that supervisory general approval rules. So that is rule based. So you can see there is a name and expression approval group is there. You can have a management chain. Use the assignee base is management chain. Then the management chain, there is a CFO, manager, and the initiator will be there. And the rule base, as per the rule base, it will be the amount you can have as per our requirement is a rule base basically. If amount is of $5,000, less than $5,000, it should approve automatically, and between the 5,000 to 10,000, it should be approved by the manager, and then if it is above than 10,000, then it should go to two approvers, right? So that is the rule based we have used. So we assign that, and from here you can see you can add sequential, parallel, same, and parallel with the parallel approval. So you can convert this also. Later we will go to this go to rule. Let us go to the rule. So you can see as it is a test environment, there are a lot of rules already been created for different primary ledgers. So we will create our own rule. So let us start with creating our BPM rule. So first, from the plus icon, drop this. From the plus icon, general rule. And the property I will provide as BISP USPL primary ledger auto approval less 5001, right? $5001. That is, I will give a auto APPROVL approval with journal line value less than 1, right? So I have given the description out here, right? So this is not a mandatory one. You can provide that, or you can skip that also. So I have selected the priority as the medium and activate, and I use the tree mode, right? So tree mode I have used. Say OK. Now this rule, the root I will use as batch, right? So I will use the journal batch, right? So that is the journal batch. I will use that, and if the condition is if the simple test. Now you will write the conditions, right? So that is the what conditions you will use this journal. So journal batch is my the root. Select the journal batch. Journal batch. Here we are. Journal batch. The foremost thing is that I will use this. Just hold on. The batch approval requesters. I will use the first is journal batch approval requester. Right, so it will search for, if you enable that, it will search for batch approval requester. So I select that requester is, I will hardcode that as yes. Why? Then I will add another simple test case. Then what? It will go for my ledger, search for my ledger. So let the, and here we are, and my ledger is journal batch. Journal batch. We have selected that journal batch, and the ledger. I have to select the ledger. Let me select the ledger, journal batch ledger. Right, so that is the my ledger. Select that same. Say OK. Is my BISP US, and then now the condition is my amount, right? So that is my condition. That condition lies in my maximum amount journal lines, right? So that is my, the next, the foremost thing is amount. So amount should be less than $5,000. So let me select that. Where is the journal? Maximum journal lines. Yes, select that maximum journal lines. Say OK. Is 5001, right? So then what it should do? So it should go to my supervisor. Since we are using the supervisory journal approval rules, and the level should be the 1. And the list builder is supervisory, right? So response type is required, and starting participant is get manager. I will select, and supervisory as the list builder, and reference user. I will use the reference user as task dot workflow submitter, right? And say OK. The top participant is Casey Green, and the user I will select as Casey Green, say OK. And the automatic action is true, and the auto action enable is yes, and the auto action, what will be the auto action? I will say approve. Right, so this is my rule, and I will validate the same. If you go validate, let me go, there is something mismatch is there. Okay, just hold on. Just hold on. Journal batch ledger, just hold on. Simple test case. That is my journal batch. Journal batch. Batch ledger, just hold on. I created enable approval, say OK, as yes, sorry, I can't code that. Yes, right, and enable the simple test next. And I will use my ledger. Just hold on. Journal batch ledger, select the same. So my ledger is my ledger name. Here we are, ledger name. So okay, is add the next simple test, that is the line. Let me check with that. That is the journal batch ledger. why it is not coming? Basically I am very surprised. It should be a journal batch, right? So that is the maximum amount in the journal, maximum amount in the lines in the journals. You can use the line as well as the maximum amount in journals. I'm not getting that particular thing, why it is. Just give me a 1 minute. Journal batch, I selected that. Journal batch, I will select that journal batch. Journal batch, just hold on. Journal batch. Just hold on, journal approval. Just do yes. Then go to this journal batch. Sometimes it runs very slow, some issues are there. Just since it's a test environment, just created a one test case out here, but right now it is journal batch ledger. So it's the same and is and my journal, let me check with that. Journal batch. Go to the journal batch, my journal lines or journal amounts, you can see a journal maximum amount. Let's take it this one. It should be, yes, enter your texture choice. It is 5001. Validate the same. Oh, there is some issues I am facing. Just validate that again. Data type mismatch. String data type mismatch. Okay, just remove all the things now. Let us again go to assignee, go to the rules, and create the property rule 1 BISP auto PPR rule 1 I am giving, create that, entry, say OK. Let us take the journal batch again, simple test case. Select the same, journal batch. There we go. Journal batch. I select that first as the requester, right? So journal batch requester approver. So as yes, yes, then add the simple case, the add, then we got a journal batch ledger, let me select that journal batch ledger. Okay, is comma and is BISP US, and then I will add simple test case. Here we are. Yeah, I have used some mistake I have done. The one mistake I have done. Right, I caught that. Journal batch and the line. I will select the line amount, right? So journal line amount. Journal maximum journal line amount. Say OK. And I will select is less than that, right? So that is the thing, is should not be there, less than that it should be 5001. Tap that, and then I should go to the approval and the supervisory, one level go, and starting participant, select the starting participant, and it will be the get manager, and it will be task dot workflow PMITT submitter, right? So The reference user is and my top participant is KC Green. The user, that is I will make it as a hardcore, KC Green. Alright, so say OK. And the action, it will be true, and it will be approved, right? And validate the same. I don't know why the error is coming. Let me validate again. Is there any string issues are there? List data type mismatch for the test. We will continue in tomorrow. We will see this, why the error is coming. In tomorrow session, we will see this particular issue regarding why I'm not able to create the journal approval rules. So tomorrow we will see that, and just hold on, sync that particular thing first of all. So that is the issue behind that. So we will see in tomorrow's session. So that's it for today. We are unable to see the workflow in the BPM. So tomorrow we will see we will create the rule name and condition and components we will provide, and the rule is activated. So, and we will test the manual journal along as we push the manual journals, and accordingly we will also see the ADFDI, how to create the ADFDI, downloading the ADFDI tool and creating journals through the ADFDI, and also we will see the FBDI, how to import the data through FBDI templates also. So that's it for today. So thank you for joining. We are unable to create the journal approval. There is some issue with that. Well, tomorrow we'll come and create that particular approval and test the manual journals, right? So that will be the tomorrow session. Thank you for joining the session. Thanks.